10 years of marriage. You kind of just blink and the time goes. All of a sudden, you're walking down the aisle, and then a decade goes by.
Yeah.
We are here to celebrate. So in this week's episode, we are going to be talking about our 10 years of marriage and some of the lessons that we've learned.
And we are going to go through those 10 years in excruciating detail, minute by minute, everything that we did, ate, and talked about.
Well, welcome back to the Craft Parenting Podcast, the podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem. My name is Joe. This is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline.
Hey!
And like I said before, we are going to be talking about some of the lessons that we've learned over the a decade of marriage. 2 houses, 2 dogs, 2 kids.
A partridge in a pear tree.
A partridge in a pear tree.
We did have a pear tree chopped down. I don't know where the partridge came in though.
It fell.
It fell with the tree.
It fell down. But first, we have a special beer.
Yeah.
To celebrate.
In honor of our 10-year anniversary and 9 Giants' 9-year anniversary. And then, because we have to include it,
West Side
is turning 8 as well. We are opening up a 9 Giant. I don't remember what this is, but I know it's a big in.
It's a heavy metal drummer.
Yep, heavy metal drummer, a Russian Imperial Stout, bourbon barrel aged from 2018. Aggressive yet nuanced, dark and brooding, like a mid-90s Crash Test Dummies song.
Yeah.
It's 12% ABV, 58 IBUs, dark chocolate, coffee, and candied fig.
We'll see how this one goes. I don't remember where we got this.
I do. And this was also aged 12 months in Buffalo Trace barrels.
Okay, then.
So we got this at Beers, Boobs, Biscuits, Bonks, Boinks, Binks, Bananas Festival.
Well, we weren't supposed to.
No, we were not supposed to. Your wife has the ability to end up with liquid somehow.
I have no idea if this will even be good. This is
it is pouring like motor oil.
You might need a backup beer.
Well, I'm locked in right now, so I can't get it. And here, wait, Prost. 10 years.
I mean,
Woo-hoo.
It smells like something.
It tastes really smooth. Ooh, I get some coffee. This is tasty.
Yeah, it is a little flat, though.
Obviously. 2018.
I know.
That was, math, 7 years ago.
Lily is, yeah.
Yeah, because Lily was born in 2019 and she's about to turn 6.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I can definitely feel the liquor part of it, the bourbon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's tasty. It is definitely very different from what I was drinking earlier today, which was a grapefruit beer.
A grapefruit beer, but we were outside, so that was...
It was so hot.
It was very warm.
When did the outside become an oven? Because I am not here for it. Though I am stuck in it.
That's summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so lots of things going on in our life right now. As we are melting in the Midwest here in the United States with record highs, heat indexes and stuff.
Yeah, we're attempting to have a 90s summer with the kid, though. 90s summer with the kids. Oh, my goodness. I forgot how to talk.
It's the Buffalo Trace barrels. Is that what it was? Buffalo Trace?
Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels. Okay. Because we pulled the sprinkler out for the second time this summer and said, go run. And I went and ran with them because I was so hot.
Mm-hmm.
It felt so good.
of course, it was the hottest week of the year, and the kids had zoo camp
Yep. In the afternoon.
in the afternoon.
The hotter part of the day.
So that was fun. They survived.
They had a blast.
Yeah.
Lily wants to do zoo camp again next year and wants to start planning what camp she's going to go to now. Elliot is still up in the air about it, but he's probably going to zoo camp.
Well, I guess we should get on with it. Is there anything else you want to say about this beer? I don't think we've featured a 9 Giant beer on our show before.
I'm not sure we have either.
9 Giant, for those who don't know, is in Pleasant Ridge.
Yes, Pleasant Ridge.
It's a microbrewery in the sense where they don't really have core beers necessarily.
Well, like a microbrewery can have core beers. They choose not to have core beers.
It's kind of unique, yeah. Each time you go in there, you don't know what they want. Each time you go in there, you don't know what they will have necessarily. They might have like 1 or 2 things that you're familiar with, but everything else, it's catch of the day type stuff.
Where can you catch beer? I want to do that. Can we do that?
Oh, you grow the grain, you grow the hops.
That's not catching it, though. You said catch of the day.
You catch the wheat, I guess. I don't know. So they started out just in the one room, and I believe they've expanded.
They have. They have the brew pub and the fermentorium, which is around the corner from the brew pub.
Right. They have 2 different locations, but I'm talking about in the brew pub. They expanded.
They broke into the space next door. Yeah.
In the next door. So it used to be like just a room, like maybe, I don't know, not a lot of seating.
No.
But now they have more seating is
Yeah.
my point. Absolutely fantastic food. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I would say sometimes the food outshines the beer, which is actually hard to do because their beer is pretty fantastic.
Yeah. They describe themselves for the brew pub as the OG joint featuring our award-winning scratch kitchen and 10 regularly rotating taps of pure goodness. Our kitchen slings the raddest of upscale gastro bar eats while the taps kick out brews to please any palate. And they are good about having a really wide variety of stuff on draft, which is nice.
Yeah, they do different things.
And they like to use the word rad.
Okay, then. I don't.
The last sentence that they use to describe their fermentorium is, "It's pretty rad."
Yeah, I would agree with that. Parking's across the street, so
yeah, street parking and wherever you can find
it's free. At least I haven't paid for it. We don't go as often as I would like to, but I don't know how kid friendly it is.
They have burgers.
Do they have all high tops though? I think they have
they have low stuff.
They have low tops, yeah.
Yeah.
But we used to go before beers, booze, bunks, whatever.
Biscuits, bananas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you say it different every time. That's the joy of it.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, we used to do that, and then that festival just stopped happening.
It was a lot.
I'm sure it was, yeah. But we got a bottle out of it.
Yeah,
so
somehow it ended up in our car.
That's something.
I don't even remember who I got it from.
I don't know either.
You don't ask questions. You just say, thank you.
So I guess on to the main topic, which is hopefully going to take up a majority of this episode. We are going to talk about 10 lessons that we've learned over the last 10 years.
Yep.
Of marriage. Of life together. Living life together. A decade. I guess it was our second decade of life or something. I got married when I was 25, so
I was 24. Math.
yeah, math. And then I turned 26 shortly after that. So I was in a very different place career-wise.
Yep.
I was at the very beginning of my career. You were in the I think you just graduated.
I had graduated a year previous.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Because we were engaged for a year and a half.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, a lot has changed. The first thing on my list is to be flexible. And
practicing yoga is very important.
Plans can change quickly, and we learned this one on our wedding day. And before you go into perverted places, our bus broke down on our wedding day. Between the church,
the ceremony and the reception,
Yep. So it broke down on the side of I-74, and luckily our friend was following us, so we got a ride. We hitched a ride with him, and we were frantically calling
everybody that had a minivan.
Basically everyone that we knew.
Because we called our parents and they didn't answer their phones.
They didn't.
So we called people and told them to tell our parents. We're like, tell them to check their phones. They're probably on silent in the bottom of their purse or something.
Yeah. So we had kids on our bus and stuff.
Well, we were like, get everybody on the bus that wants to get on the bus, because we had a pretty big bus. And then we were all stuck on the side of the highway. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot. It was kind of embarrassing. It was a lot of things.
Fortunately, we weren't like the video of somebody driving down the highway and you see a bridal party on the side of the road, and then you see their limo, and then you see the front of their limo that is currently on fire. That was not us. I think that might have been a thing that would have said, hey, wait, maybe this is the universe saying we shouldn't file this paperwork and we should just have a big party and then just go home. But we got to, as we were getting off of the highway for our reception in our friend's car, we got to see our friends and family getting onto the highway to go pick up the bridal party. So it was a really great example of how much of a village that we have, and that we do have a lot of people in our life that are very flexible and like, hey, this is what my plan was, but actually what do you need? And how can we make this work better than whatever's currently going on? So it was really great.
Yeah, we were very lucky to to have that, because it could have been worse. I mean, you mentioned the fire. Our bus did not have any coolant.
No. So what?
We learned this after the fact.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, but essentially what had happened was we thought we were going to get a white bus, and a black bus showed up at my house, or vice versa, in the morning. I don't remember what the color of the bus was. It doesn't really matter. But it was not the color that I was expecting to see show up at our house.
Yeah.
Well, the bus driver said, I tried to start that other bus and the AC didn't work, so I grabbed this bus instead. The company that we used, at the time at least, had a terrible lockout procedure. And so the bus that he took ran just fine until middle of the day, towards the end of June, got too hot, doesn't have any coolant in it, and it starts shutting down because the engine is overheating. He does not know that it doesn't have any coolant in it. The maintenance guys know that it doesn't have any coolant in it. So how did he get the key? We do not know.
And
But-
we won't say the name of the place because
They did right.
they gave us a significant amount of our money back.
Yeah.
Thanks to our best man and matron of honor.
Yeah. Thanks to our village.
Yeah.
So we practiced that a lot during our wedding because we're very much like, well, I am a little bit more of a go with the flow. I would like to know what the plan is. I would like to know sections of the plan, but I know that that's not always possible. Now that we have kids, it's even more fun. Because I was talking to somebody about this morning, or this afternoon when we were at the party. There was a year where all of our plans pretty much had to go out the window. If me and Joe wanted to take a night to ourselves or have a weekend to ourselves, I could almost 100% guarantee that one or both of the kids were going to pop a fever within 24 hours of whenever our plans were supposed to start. We went to his cousin's wedding in Lexington. We had to book it home because that morning the kids started popping a fever. We were going to go hiking for a week. And that Saturday, the kids popped a fever. So it was just like, okay, instead of going out of town, we're staying in town all week. And not even in town, in the house. And we had some semi-serious conversations of, are we going to be able to do anything without the kids ever again?
We went out of town and Lily popped a fever.
Yeah, we were out of town and Lily popped a fever. Like every time we went out of town, one of the kids would pop, even with the kids, one of the kids would pop a fever. And we're like, this is our life now. We just stay home. That too passed. So now we've been able to go lots of places with the children. The more prepared you are, the less likely they pop a fever, it seems like. But just...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any explanation for that.
Nope. I mean, kids make everything a whole different level of, are you able to plan? Because you can't tell them plans too far in advance, or you get 6 months of, when are we going to the beach? Are we going to the beach tomorrow? Are we going to the beach tomorrow? It's like, that's still 3 months away, hun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we told you about that.
I mean, everything about our current situation, I feel like we've had to be flexible in some way. Mm-hmm. Clara was completely unplanned. Zoe was completely unplanned.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess a little bit. I mean, we knew we wanted a second dog at some point. And then Clara was too cute. What were we supposed to do?
She's not here.
No.
I thought she was.
She needed a home.
We
gave her a loving home.
We did give her a home, yeah.
Well, like even last weekend. So Zoe and Clara went to the vet. Zoe got put under anesthesia. Either Zoe picked up a bug or does not recover from anesthesia as well as she used to.
I mean, she's going to be 11.
Yeah. So Sunday morning, we're like, well, we're doing stuff Sunday afternoon. What's plans A, B, and C, and when do we decide when we're enacting those plans?
I don't think the vet is open on Sundays.
Our vet is not open on Sundays, and I love Zoe, but I am no longer taking her to the emergency vet unless it is a legit emergency.
That's another story. I think we've told that story.
We've told that story.
The avocado seed.
Yeah, so it was like plan A was we all get to go to the thing and the dogs stay home. Plan B was I stay home, Joe goes with the kids. And plan C was Caroline takes Zoe to the emergency vet because obviously something is very wrong. Zoe is still with us. Zoe is fine now. Zoe finally got to go to the vet on Tuesday. And either it had passed through her system or we finally were feeding her the right things that she was okay again. But it was like, okay, the kids are fine now, but now it's the dog. that has become the question mark. So you just look around at your family and say, okay, which one of you is the ticking time bomb that's going to go off next?
I don't know, yeah. You just go with the flow at this point.
Yeah. We're working on that with the kids too. But you said we were gonna, well, plans change. We got distracted. Somebody got sick. We'll find something else fun to do. So that was, do you have anything else on Be Flexible?
I do not.
Okay. The next one is learn patience.
I am still learning patience.
Yep.
That might be my Achilles heel, lack of patience.
Sometimes.
And I get that from, sorry, Mom, but I get it from my mom. I think she would agree with that, actually. Because she does not have patience.
Sometimes it's fun. Being an only child, I have to be a little bit more introspective and say, oh, that was my mom. Oh, that was my dad. Like, what is going on? It's fun going to Joe's family events and just watching him, his brother, and or his sister do something and be like, that was your mom. And they're like, what? No, it wasn't. I'm like, yep, that was your mom. It was you, but that was your mom.
Name an example.
Oh, I did it to your sister. She did something and I was like, that's your dad, which is not something that super happens. But no, the last time we were all at your parents' house, I think I got you and your sister for something that was your parents.
Is this a fruit fly? What is it?
It might be. I'll get it in a minute. Be flexible, patience, whatever. We're trying to teach the kids that this is a house.
Not a barn.
Not a barn. So you're either inside or you're outside and the door is closed. And they like to go play on the back deck a lot now, which means they have a door open that's right next to our kitchen, and it is becoming problematic. We're working on it. We're learning and growing together.
Something. Yeah, the door was open for a while.
Yeah, I do not have lots of patience when I have to tell them 3 times to close the door and the door is still open. Do you have any examples about patience, Joseph?
I had a lot of examples about patience.
I saw.
Well, I mean, I tend to be a planner. We're both planners in some sense, but I am more of a planner than you are.
Hey, if something more fun is going on, let's change gears.
Well, I guess part of my personality is I get frustrated when things don't go the way I envision or the way I plan. Particularly in a few years ago before the kids were born, I was, I guess, let go from my job. I was laid off. But it wasn't like a performance thing. It was like a budget thing. And when you think of layoffs, you think of like pink slips and getting escorted out by security and stuff like that. None of that happened with me. Like they gave me a month notice, which was really, really nice and probably unheard of.
It's not, I'd say it's not.
It's not very
normal.
common. It's not common. It's usually if you're getting laid off, you're done for the,
It's peace out by. Like there's a story where I work like a whole building. Now it's like a smaller building, but like they just one by one let 90% of the people go. And like 3 years later, you could walk through and it would still be like desks with a pair of work boots under it and a can of open Coke on the desk. Like, cause they didn't even clean desks. It was just like, grab what you can and go.
Yeah. So they gave me like the month notice. Like, and they were like, yeah, you can look for jobs on the clock. like, we don't want you to go. It was almost like they didn't want me to go, but they got the notice from up above them. But anyway, that was kind of an unexpected thing because everything was going well. I thought I was getting good feedback. I was getting lots of wins, like professional wins. And then it all ended. And it didn't go to, that did not go to plan in my mind. But it ended up working out because I was hired at a different company and I had a lot of great opportunities, which led to where I am now. So
Yeah.
Sometimes things don't go according to plan, and sometimes you have to take the detours.
Yeah.
To get to where you want to go.
And sometimes when you're hanging out at the house a bit too much and there's a rainstorm and there's water coming into the basement that you're frustrated about, you decide that it would be the perfect time to dig a trench in the side yard. We just saw the photo evidence of that come up in our timeline. And then post a picture of the giant rock that you had to chop in half because it was easier to go through the rock than to tear the rock out of the ground. There was something you said something about rocks.
No, I don't think I dug through it.
Maybe you didn't.
Like, you need a jackhammer for that.
Yeah, it was.
So just for some context, in our other house,
You did that.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. Larry did it too. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't just a me thing, but I started it for sure. Just for some context, the house we previously owned, the homeowners gardened, and they put a lot of soil down on the side yard, which made the yard uneven, and it messed up when it rained.
They basically made a pool when it rained on accident.
Yeah.
That we then had to make disappear so we wouldn't get water in our basement as much. And then we finally figured out how to get water in our basement. Never.
Yeah. So water would get in our basement and it was a problem. And one day, apparently, what was that, 10 years ago?
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
7 or 8.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't 10 years ago, but 7, yeah. So 7 or 8 years ago, it was pouring down rain, like torrential downpour. And
I mean, in your defense, I think that I started it because I'm 75 to 95% sure that you told me not to. And I went outside in the rain and started the trench so we could at least get the water moving away from the side of the house. Like, I broke through that initial hill.
And we were just...
And then you went hog wild with it after the rain stopped. But I was out in the middle of the rain starting it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it was just... nothing was going right. It was raining. I was just freshly, let go or whatever. And I dug a 100-foot trench in our backyard.
Yep, put in the French drain.
And I
worked out really nice.
Put in a French drain. And then a few years after that, I used a special paint. I painted our basement walls.
Yeah.
Which helped a lot.
That's what got the last of it. Yeah. I exercise patience every day. I'm working on taking more big breaths in front of the children. Because we're definitely in the I want to do it myself phase.
That's a passive aggressive sigh. That's not a breath, honey.
So I'm trying to find ways that I can tweak things in the house so the kids can do more things themselves. So I don't necessarily have to get involved unless if I have to. Getting out into the car is always fun. The biggest thing that I've learned about patience is sometimes it takes your spouse 20 minutes to find and put on their shoes.
Excuse me.
Where is the lie, Yosef? Where is the lie?
I mean, if I'm wearing sandals, it doesn't.
So you just accept the fact that it takes your spouse 20 minutes to find their shoes. You just build it into your schedule. It's fine. Everything is fine. I would like to point out, Joe has very tiny hands, but ridiculously large feet. I just slip into my shoes. This is a concept that Joe has not heard of. Joe has also started wearing hiking boots 3/4 of the time. You can't slip into hiking boots. You have to tie those.
Well, I tie my jump shoes too.
Yeah. I have many a memory of me, my sister-in-law, and my mother-in-law sitting in the van waiting for the Three Musketeers to join us, because while they may have been ready and sitting watching TV, none of them had their shoes on, and they wouldn't start to put their shoes on until we were all walking into the car.
You were exaggerating.
I am not. Do you want me to call your mom right now? Because she will back me up.
She's probably sleeping.
The big thing is give yourself grace. We are all learning and growing together. There is no handbook for this stuff. You just kind of have to figure out how it goes when you're going. And sometimes your kid says, no, I don't want to wear that. And so you pull something else out and they're like, and you're trying to stuff it on their head. And they're like, no, wait, I want that other thing that 30 seconds ago they said no to.
Yeah.
Take some big breaths. Give yourself some grace. Try to be nice.
Yeah, and when things don't go your way, I would just say that you shouldn't beat yourself up about it.
Mm-hmm.
You should go with, going back to our first point, be flexible, go with the flow.
Learn and then move on. I got like so many compliments on my shirt today.
Oh, yeah.
This is the only sports jersey that I own. It's a soccer shirt. Oh, geez.
What makes
that I got from
what
Cincy
makes it a
Shirts.
soccer shirt?
I think it's just the way it is. But it's Schoenling's Little Kings. It's good to be king. And then on the back,
I mean, it looks like it could be a baseball shirt.
it's Schoenling 58 because that's when they started.
I mean, it looks like it could be a baseball shirt too.
It does kind of look like one of the like not button down baseball shirts. But I think Cincy shirt says it's a soccer shirt.
Well, whichever. Where were we?
We were giving ourselves grace
Yeah.
before the bug decided to yeet itself into non-existence.
So when things don't go your way, it's kind of natural to beat yourself up about it. So I would just say I was, going back to my previous example, I was unemployed for, however many months, and I was angry. I was a lot of things, actually. Mm-hmm. At myself, especially. I spent a lot of time, I was obsessive about filling out applications. Scouring the internet for opportunities. I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought everything was my fault. I thought I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Which I think is all very natural. Mm-hmm. when you're going through something like that. But it's just important to, I guess, just work hard and the opportunities will come.
Yeah. So
Hopefully.
there's a creator. Her name is Caitlin Murray, and she has a good video about this that I saw recently where like there are, and I'm going to get some of the numbers wrong because I'm doing this from memory. I'm not going to pull this video up again in its entirety. Like there are 168 hours a day, or hours a week. Sorry, hours a week. And I think those are mostly waking hours, but they might be the actual hours because parents' sleeping hours don't necessarily always be a thing. And if once an hour you have like a semi-crummy interaction with your kid, and then out of those, okay, that's the whole week. Okay, so there's 168 hours in a week. But again, sleeping hours don't necessarily count because sometimes your kid comes into your room at 2 o'clock in the morning and you don't know what day, what time, what anything it is because you just got woken up from a weird ass dream. If out of those 168 times that your kids and or you, like that you got frustrated with your kids, if like 10 of those times you lost your stuff because you were touched out, asked out, just needed a pause that you couldn't get, like you're still 92+% of the time, like that's like it's a very small fraction when stuff doesn't necessarily go right. And if like your kid brought you a test and they got 92% on it, would you be like, oh my goodness, that was the worst? Like we're all learning and growing together. And sometimes you got to figure out, you know what? Everybody's just going to go outside and run around in a sprinkler because everybody's way too hot to even think straight right now. We're just going to completely change gears.
You really like that sprinkler?
I do. We need to get a new sprinkler, though, because I think that ours is broken. But I also did not have glasses on when I was trying to figure out what was going on with it, so I could not really see.
Well, it should have been. Like, I didn't touch it. Like, it was working before.
I don't know, man. I'll look at it tomorrow.
You touched it. I didn't touch it.
All I did was turn it on, and it was wrong. So I don't know. But I'm giving myself grace. I'm giving you grace.
I think it worked fine. Like, it doesn't need to go back and forth.
But it was supposed to be going back and forth. So I don't know.
I don't think it's that kind of sprinkler.
It is. At one point, it hit all of our old backyard. When we put in sod, we got super lucky that the sprinkler that we got from his grandma got the whole yard. And I don't know how old that sprinkler is, but I am sure a lot of grandkids have run around that sprinkler, and now the great grands are running around it.
Yeah.
Also, Joe, it's not about you.
No, it's not about you either. It's about it's about the kids. It's about the dogs.
Yeah.
It's about the collective when you're a family.
Yeah.
You might want to do one thing, but the kids, it's in the best interest of the kids to do another thing, the opposite thing. And
hey, that was me this morning.
Well, I won't name names or examples because they want to sleep in our bed.
Put that on this list.
It's a really comfy bed.
Not a sponsor yet. 30,000 out of 10 buy a Sleep Number bed. You don't have to fight over what kind of mattress you're buying because it is all of the mattresses. Get the cheap one. It's still, and then throw like a foam topper on it from Amazon. It's still a fantastic bed. This is like a tangent, but it's a useful one. We now have the fancy butt one because it was like $200 more expensive than buying the step up that we were going to buy because it was half off President's Day weekend.
I can't think of anything more American than going to your mattress store on President's Day weekend.
Yeah. So our bed now,
Super patriotic.
instead of just having the remote control, it has an app. It has a setting. Oh my goodness. What is it called? It's responsive air, where if you turn on responsive air, the bed adjusts. So like if I'm laying in bed and I'm just doom scrolling, all of a sudden I sink into the bed more and I'm asleep.
Yeah. It traps you.
It's so great.
It does. It traps you.
It tracks your sleep habits, so we do not pay attention to that. But when we first did it, I was looking at it. It caught one of Zoe's naps because it was a day that my mom wasn't feeling good, and I was gonna show somebody, or I was looking at like, how did I sleep last night? And all of a sudden, the app was like, "Yeah, your 1.5 hour nap today was okay. Your heart rate was kind of high, but it was okay." And I was like, "Mom, did you lay in our bed today to take a nap?" No, I didn't do that. Zoe was up there though. It caught Zoe's nap. Every once in a while, it still does it. Where it tells me how Zoe slept.
How does it catch your heart rate?
I don't know. Magic.
Does it listen?
I don't know. But yeah, Sleep Number, give us money if you want to, but they're not a sponsor yet. And it's not about you. It's about the collective. We got to all survive this together as a familial unit.
Yeah, as a family, it's about the family. So what's best for the family? If your kids are going to zoo camp all day, and
we probably should have stopped for ice cream every day this week, because that was the only day that they were mostly okay. Elliot napped for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and Lily wasn't a hot mess. Actually, I think she napped too.
If you go to zoo camp during the hottest week of the year, and you come home exhausted and tired every single day, and
maybe we should just chill most of Saturday.
Maybe we should watch TV when we have a surprise party to go to in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Maybe we should spend the morning not waking up at 6:30, Elliot. And maybe we should kind of chill a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was 7 when he came and said hi. And then I looked at my watch and I was like,
So yeah, it's not about you for sure.
No.
Especially when you have like little kids.
Yeah, because sometimes it's 2:00 in the morning. Your kid comes into your room saying, "I don't feel so good." And the reason why they don't feel so good is because they had an accident. And so now it's okay. Nose goes. Who's taking care of the kid and who's taking care of their bed? And then once the kid's taken care of, okay, now we've got somebody sleeping between us. Because all we really did was strip the bed and put it in the washing machine. We didn't put new sheets on. It's 3:00 in the morning. Let's all please go back to bed.
Well, I mean, we upgraded our beds so we can do that.
Yeah, it was getting real snug in that queen.
Yeah, we went with a queen 10 years ago.
Yep.
And our Sleep Number,
which was much bigger than the full-size futon we were sleeping on prior to that.
Yeah, that was awful.
I don't know how you fit.
That was awful. Like, come on. Like, I had really bad back pains.
It was free.
It was.
And it motivated us to buy a bed much, much quicker.
I do recall us having some heartburn getting it, though.
Yes.
I don't remember what that heartburn was.
We had to drive to the east side. Oh,
The day we
Wait.
closed, right?
It's not in here. We missed one of my things. Let me see if I can.
The day we closed in our house.
It was the day because you were insistent that you were going to spend the night in your house, and I do not blame you one bit. Let me search messages because you missed one because it was a different. Okay. So I have a thing that I'm adding to this list. So we are going to hit 11 items. It's not going to be 10.
Well, you already had a bonus item, so this is 12.
Okay. So every couple has something that they cannot do together. Figure out what that thing is. Ours is we cannot move furniture together. Moving that futon 2 separate times. Well, no, it was 3 separate times. First to get it into the van.
It was mostly the mattress.
Yeah, it was mostly the mattress, but then the futon itself like folded and stuff. So moving that futon 3 separate times. Once to get it into the van. Second to get it into the house. And then third to get it from our bedroom to the guest bedroom. We about murdered each other. For me wanting to get furniture out of places that had been for a while, we moved a dresser. I almost broke my ankle. Everything is fine.
Okay, well, you need to learn to walk down the stairs.
No.
I mean, it's one step after the other.
So, okay, I said some of this stuff out of order. So we can't move furniture. We have friends that cannot paint together. I don't remember who these friends are, but I remember talking about moving furniture with you. And I had a friend that was like, I cannot paint with my husband. Like, we cannot paint a room together because we have totally different ways of doing it. And it just completely destroys us. So figure out what that thing is. And this is the important part. Remember it. Remember what that thing is, because we always forget. And then we're moving a piece of furniture and we contemplate, what are we doing? And then we eat a snack and everything's fine again.
Well,
Snacks are important. Know what your spouse needs.
it's true. Like, Caroline gets extremely hangry. And this was even before she was ever pregnant.
Yeah.
My friend and I, we joked because we had season tickets to the Reds. Mm-hmm. We did like the weekend pass.
We did a season ticket year.
So this was like even before we were married.
2014, I think.
So we did the weekend pass, and it was kind of excessive. It was
towards the end of the season, we were like, man, we got to go to another Reds game.
It was the weekend pass, so sometimes it would be two games in a row, like Friday, Saturday. Sometimes it would be Friday, Sunday. It would just depend. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it would be Saturday, Sunday. But it was excessive. It was a long season. We had a running joke about Caroline because sometimes we would have to go immediately after work. No kids. Mm-hmm. We weren't even married. We were engaged.
We didn't have Zoe yet.
No, we did not. Mm-hmm. We had zero responsibilities.
Not a care in the world except for ourselves.
Yeah.
We thought life was so hard then.
Yeah.
Now we just laugh and laugh.
That's true. But Caroline got extremely hangry, especially when there were rain delays or you know, there was traffic and we missed our Skyline, you know, stop that we usually went to or something. Whatever it was. I don't exactly remember, but there was always the code black. Caroline is hangry. She's going to start rioting because she didn't eat enough food and she was hungry.
Yeah.
And she needs dinner.
Yeah.
So we learned very quickly I don't even remember what my point was, but
Yeah, just know what your partner needs.
the point was snacks. I think.
Yeah, snacks. Snacks are very important. Yeah.
So we had a running joke about Caroline and Code Black. She's angry.
Yeah, like legit. We would have gotten divorced if we would have not hired a contractor to do our kitchen.
What?
Because I would have gotten so hangry. And it would have taken us a year to finish the thing.
What?
Even 2 weeks I think we had like 2 to 4 weeks without a working kitchen. And it was stressful. If we would have gone 6 months, like I tell people like, I told people, because it's been a hot second since I've talked about remodeling our kitchen. That was like, we got a contractor for that, because like a bathroom we can remodel together. It takes a little bit too long. That's okay. We got 2 other toilets you can use.
Yeah.
The kitchen.
We didn't really the kitchen was a gutting.
Yeah. Like he gutted it and built it from scratch.
And
it needed it.
I don't have the ability or the time, especially the time, to do that. And I don't think your stepdad has that either.
With parental help, we could have done it ourselves. It would have taken 6+ months to finish, though.
I mean, we finished a basement very quickly, though.
But that's just putting up walls. That's not putting up cabinets so they're structurally sound and will hold all of my dishes.
It was a lot of wiring.
Yeah, he totally rewired our kitchen too, which I think that thing really needed. I mean, the whole house needed to be rewired.
We basically did rewire the whole house.
We basically did.
Yeah, that was
snacks. Always have snacks.
Always have snacks.
Our friend was so we were at this party, we were talking to one of our friends, and they said that one of their grandkids gets hangry. And I'm like, I know nothing about that. Oh, also, when we were visiting my aunt and uncle in North Carolina, I noticed that she had a cookie jar that said biscotti on it, or whatever biscuit is in Italian, because her family is very, very Italian. Like your family is very, very German. And it was stuff in a Ziploc bag, so I didn't feel comfortable opening it. But if it hadn't have been in a Ziploc bag, I totally would have eaten half of her cookies.
In a cookie jar?
Yes, she had a cookie jar.
But she put the cookies in a Ziploc bag in the cookie jar?
Yeah. I mean, it's in bear country, so I don't know what you got to do there. It's in a house. The bears were fine.
What step are we on?
We're on 5, which I think is really 6 now, because I said no what you and your spouse/partner cannot do together. Okay. So I think we're on 6 now, which is be present. And there's nothing for that. So I think that just means that we exist.
We do exist.
Yes.
I think that when I wrote this, I envisioned talking about our devices, our bricks.
Yes.
That we, especially me.
Doom scroll.
Especially you. Doom scrolling. We don't do TikTok, but you do TikTok Lite, which is Instagram. Or Facebook. It's so confusing. Instagram is basically Facebook. Like the videos come from Instagram. It's confusing.
I don't know how any of it works. I realized when I was going through all of our documents, I was like, I made the framework for a reel and I haven't done anything with it. I got to do something with that.
Yeah, I did one for Dollywood too.
We got to do something with that.
We're very bad influencers, apparently.
Yeah. Like, I want to. I've got all these good ideas. It's the execution that I'm like, 3 weeks later, I'm like, oh, yeah, I did that. Dang it. I recorded all the content. Now I got to put it together.
Yeah, we should do that before I delete all your stuff.
Yes, please. I put it in OneNote now. So I've got a notebook and craft parenting podcast. YouTube shorts. I made one that's Caroline Reels.
Okay.
And that's where I put I made copy for what I was supposed to record. I still have to record it. Maybe we'll do that after this.
I think a future episode, we're going to talk about our digital woes.
Yeah, that would probably be good.
We've been going through.
Wait, okay. I'm not used to OneNote yet. I got lost. I found it. It's okay. Dude, co-ops don't know how to fix anything. We had a printer problem, and I was like, y'all need to come over and physically look at this printer with me because I need to show you guys how a printer works. Because, like, have you guys ever seen a printer before? They had not seen the innards of a printer before. Now, granted, somebody had completely messed up the printer before we got to it, so it needed physical parts replaced.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, these are all the places that paper can get stuck.
Well,
This is how you get to them safely. But somebody already broke stuff.
I haven't cleared a paper jam in probably 10 years, but back then, like, it literally showed you where the paper jam was.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think it'd just clear it itself now because it's 2025. AI and robots are taking over everything. Just fix yourself, printer. Why do you need me? Replace your own toner. Fix your own paper jam.
Yeah, I mean, I would, at my first job at least, I would replace toner. I would clear paper jams. I would do all that. Second job, like, I didn't need to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, we had IT people and stuff. And I didn't print anything.
Yeah, I have to print stuff every once in a while.
I don't print anything now. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
We do not own a printer. I feel like most millennials don't.
I feel like that needs to change, though.
We are being present. We are interacting with our children. We are not being 80s parents where there literally has to be a thing on TV that comes on at 10 o'clock every night that says, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
What?
You haven't heard of that?
No.
So there is a theory that when, like, To Catch a Predator and, like, those sorts of things became more of a thing, that's when parents started becoming way more involved in their children's lives because, like, you don't want that to be your kid for very good reason. But, like, yeah, like, think about it. Like, the 70s, come home when the streetlights turn on or come home when you want dinner.
I mean, that was the 80s.
Yeah, 70s and the 80s, yeah. Sandlot? Psh, what were those kids doing? Where were those kids' parents all day? Not with the kids. You try to do that stuff today, and CPS is knocking on your door.
They were playing baseball.
Yeah, but where were their parents? They were roaming around. There were stories. There were, like, people posting that, like, yeah, back in
that doesn't warrant. The Sandlot does not warrant CPS.
No, but, like,
They were just being kids.
there were people that were saying, like, yeah, back when I was a kid, me and my buddy would bike to the next town over, which would be like 10 miles. And then we'd hitch a ride on the back of somebody's truck to get back to our town so we wouldn't have to bike the whole way. We didn't have to deal with that because our neighborhoods were a lot.
I mean,
more
I
condensed, but,
biked
like,
places. Like,
yeah.
I biked. We had a Blockbuster. It was the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah. When the Starbucks opened up in the Kroger, me and my friend biked to the Starbucks to get hot chocolate. Because my friend was like, they have the best hot chocolate. It was okay, hot chocolate. But we biked to it because, yeah, our parents let us.
When did this? That was like, you were in high school, though.
No, that was middle school.
Starbucks and Kroger?
Yeah. I didn't have a car. It was middle school or early high school.
Late middle school.
Because I was still friends with this person, and we stopped hanging out at some point in middle school or high school.
Well, yeah, I would bike to Blockbuster. And
Yeah.
I would get, what would I get? Like, I would get specifically, I would get video games, I think.
See, I would rent Alias, and then I got super pissed when I found out that the library had Alias, and I could have been renting all that stuff for free. And then that's what I started doing, was getting it for free from the library.
I didn't bike to the library. That was too far.
I worked at the library. I volunteered at the library, and then I worked at the library.
You volunteered? I didn't know that.
That was... Mom wanted me to do things that were job-like without having a job, because I no longer had a job, because we didn't have the family business anymore. And that was how you got a job at the library. You had to volunteer.
You had to take a test.
And you had to take a test. You had to know your alphabet, which included the mix and the max. And you had to count to 1,000 using decimal points and letters. Dewey Decimal System. I like telling people that I can count to 1,000 using letters and using decimals and letters, and they get kind of confused. And I'm like, Dewey Decimal. I used to have 3/4 of it memorized.
Well, I mean, if that's your job, you probably should have it memorized.
Yeah. But things that we're working on with the children right now is being grateful for what you have, not greedy for what you want.
I say this to Lily a lot because she's like, why?
Yeah.
She says that a lot.
She is on a reorganizing kick, which means that she takes everything out of her room and then puts it back into her room as much as she is able to. So the most recent example I have for this is Friday, which was yesterday as of this recording.
Yeah.
Where we get home from zoo camp, I'm like, okay, you guys had snack in the car because they saw the bird show. So they were basically running into the car, kind of eating snacks, and they ate their snacks in the car. And I am hot and bothered from being in a hot car for an hour, driving to pick you guys up and going home. You guys are hot and bothered from being outside all day.
Yeah.
Let's eat a popsicle and chill and watch some TV. And Lily's like, I would like to reorganize my room, Mother. Okay, here's your criteria. I am setting a timer for 45 minutes. After that 45 minutes is over, you have 15 minutes to get everything back into your room in an order that your father will not freak out when he sees it. Those were not the words that I used. The words that I used were, you need to have your room back in order where there's not stuff all over the floor and all of your things are back in your room.
And did she listen?
She followed to the letter of the law is the answer to that.
The letter of the law.
So Lily started reorganizing her room and put stuff in the hallway. And I said, okay, girl, have at it. I'm going to go lay on the couch and watch TV with your brother because I need to chill. And I recognize this about myself. She comes downstairs to try to watch TV with us. And I'm like, hey, homegirl, is your room to a state where we can do this? No. I'm going to need you to go take care of that, please, and thank you. All of your stuff has to be out of the hallway. That's what I said, out of the hallway. She comes back downstairs. Homegirl, is all of your stuff out of the hallway? Yep. Okay, you can come enjoy TV with us. Let's just chill for a bit because we all need some chill time under this fan, just laying down and not doing anything. Joe's working. I go upstairs because I need to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, well, let's check on see how Lily did. Well, Lily's stuff isn't in the hallway. The stuff that was in the hallway is in our bedroom. Hey, homegirl, you're not allowed to take all your stuff and put it in mom and dad's bedroom. It's got to go in your bedroom. But mom, no. We're not doing this. We get it taken care of. But that was a tangent, man. Lily has 3 doll houses. We probably need to pare that down a little bit. probably.
You think?
Lily's always like, I want this, I want that. Elliot's like, I want this, I want that. Especially stuffies. And I'm like, children, you need to play with the stuffies that you have before I add more stuffies to our house. And that kind of works. I think at one point I told them that they had 1 billion toys at our house, 500 million toys at Oma and Opa's house, and 11 toys at Grandma's house.
It's a real number.
Real numbers. Play with the stuff that you have before we add more stuff to that. And then I see something that looks super cute and fun at the store, and our house explodes.
Our house does explode a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we have so much stuff. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. They got plenty. I added this one. So number 50, I don't know what number this is now. It says 7, but we're on like 8 or 9 now. Work together when making big decisions. Because making big decisions is hard. So you need to know what you and your partner want. So the big way that we do this is we make a list. It doesn't have to be like a physical list. It can be a list in your head. The best example I have for this is when
I will dispute that it has to be a physical list, because otherwise the lists will differ.
We didn't make a physical list when we bought this house. So, so the big example I have for this is when we got this house and our previous house, but this house is the one that's most recent. We literally drove through neighborhoods saying, I like this. I don't like that. I definitely don't like that. Ooh, I need that. And we had our lists of what we needed. We needed 4 bedrooms. We needed a backyard, preferably fenced, but wasn't a requirement.
Sidewalks.
We needed sidewalks, and we needed it to be a little bit quiet. Not like cul-de-sac, but we don't want to be like on a main road where there's constantly cars going back and forth. Would be nice to have like a 3rd or 4th bathroom. Would be nice to have a fenced in yard. Would be nice to have a flat yard. Whatever. But we knew going into it what our compromises were and what we needed to fulfill when looking at a house. So we made it super easy on our realtor at the end of the day, because we looked at a bunch of stuff on Zillow. We had driven through all these neighborhoods and knew what the other expected out of a house.
Like 6 months,
Yeah, like it was 6 months of like, hey,
driving with the kids.
We're going from event A to event B, and the kids are going to nap in the car. So we're just going to end up driving around for an hour anyway. Let's try to hit up some neighborhoods and talk about what we like and what we don't like.
I mean, honestly, we narrowed it down to three neighborhoods.
Yeah, like it got to the point where
this one wasn't on our list, ironically.
We had narrowed it down so much that our realtor was like, I can't put that in a search for you until a house becomes available in that area.
Yes.
Because we had like said, this street. Not even like a zip code. It was this street.
We knew where Lily was going to go to school.
Yeah. And
then later Elliot, I guess.
Yeah. So we brought in our realtor. Matt Damaris was fantastic. Veterans. Oh my goodness. Vets and Brews. No. Homes and Brews. What's the Veterans one? Why am I not remembering?
Yeah, you said Vets and Brews. It
is Vets and Brews? Okay.
I think so. And Homes and Brews. Yeah. It started Homes and Brews. And then Vets and Brews.
Yeah. So Homes and Brews. He's a Cincy Brews traveler. That's probably the easiest way to find him and all of his other stuff. And we looked at 2 houses in person. And pretty much the second that we stepped into the first house, we said no. Because we both knew that it was not it.
Yeah.
And then we walked into the second house and we're like, ooh, this is nice. And we were fairly confident that it was the house that we wanted.
I mean, it has some quirks to it, but
yeah, like I have on my list, like I would definitely not prefer having a 2-story foyer. To me, it's a waste of space. We have one. We'll live with it.
Yeah.
I'm not turning it into a playroom because that's too many engineers have to get involved for that. Our HOA, we have an HOA. Not super stoked about it, but it's a really chill HOA. So I'm fine with it. Yeah, so far. If it becomes not chill, we have contingency plans in place for dismantling the HOA from the inside.
Codename Palpatine.
Dude, do you know how hard it was at work? There was something, it was like we had like 66 orders or something like that. And I was like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. Because I really wanted to say something about executing order 66. Because at one point at work, a bunch of the engineers were doing something and they had blue gloves on and they were dealing with material that was dyed blue. And it was getting everywhere. And I said 2 by 2 hands of blue, and they all looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, I am the nerdiest nerd in my department.
I mean,
now it is a dated reference. It was not as much of a dated reference then. Now I got to deal with little baby co-ops that don't, I have to teach them everything.
Firefly was a weird thing. It was a 8 episode. How many episodes? 10 episodes.
Yeah, it ended too soon.
And they aired it out of order, and what all those suits do.
Yeah.
At these network television show, networks.
Yeah. So
and they ruin it.
Back to making big decisions. As much as you can possibly talk about it beforehand. Dude, we have friends that are trying to find a house right now, and I've tried to give them as much advice as I can. When they bought the house they currently live in, they physically looked at 60 houses. I was frustrated with them, and I did not have to look at 60 houses with them. I was like, homegirl, do you have a list of what you need, what you want? What would be super nice to have, but won't be a deal breaker. They don't.
These people are indecisive. They are, These friends are, very indecisive.
Yeah. They've spent a lot of time on things that took me 10 minutes to decide on something.
I think they would agree with that. I don't think that's an insult or anything.
No. And they realize this about themselves. I'm trying to help them.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well it's going to work.
Yeah. I mean, especially in this market, it's not as hot as it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would do well in a hot market. What it was a few years ago. You had to make a decision now.
Yeah, we have been very fortunate.
This house sat a while, so we didn't have that problem. But
I mean, even when we bought our first house, we saw our house. We were not adults at that point, and so we're we need to show it to our parents too. And there were 2 or 3 houses we wanted to show to our parents. Well, to make it worth everybody's time, we made it 3 houses, but only one of those houses was a house that we had seen before. 2 of them were new houses because one of the houses that we'd wanted to see went pending in that wait period. So even then, the market wasn't on fire, but it was still if you sat too long, you were going to miss something. But yeah, so figure it out ahead of time. Don't try to figure it out on the back end. Because you should know, I'd say buying a house is probably the biggest thing that you would ever have to do something like this with. But like,
or a car.
yeah, it's like you should know within 10 minutes of being inside a house whether or not you're going to try to buy it. Because like when we looked at that first house, we were like, oh, this is probably something that we would enjoy, because all you're seeing is the disjointed sections of it. And then as soon as we walked into it, we're like, hard pass.
Yeah, that first house that we looked, for the latest session with Matt, it was a very 90s house.
Yeah, and like
it was like the
just
house
the
I
layout.
grew up in. It was the house I grew up in, basically.
Yeah, and that super solidified that like, oh yes, this house. And we had said yes and no to like 50 to like 200 houses on Zillow before that.
We looked heavily on Zillow and then the MLS.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was mostly Zillow. Because we didn't do a whole heck of a lot in the MLS. Because we mostly knew what we wanted at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the MLS basically mimicked Zillow. So that too.
Yeah. So 9, 10. Go on adventures across the country, down the road, and everywhere in between. Even if it's just exploring your neighborhood, like anything could be an adventure, especially like with small kids, like stuff that you're like, man, I don't really want to go to the hardware store. But for the kids, it's like, oh my goodness, there's tractors, there's wood, there's stuff piled high to the ceilings. What is this? Like it can be an adventure.
Yeah.
Or you take your kids to the mountains, or you take your kids to the beach. And right now we're still like, the beach is number one in their books. But Elliot has been asking a few times, like, when are we going to go back to the mountains?
He hasn't asked me that.
He's asked me that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And maybe I did a little bit of prompting with that, but I don't think that I did. He misses the mountains. I mean, he definitely missed the beach, though. So we're probably going to do like an every other year kind of rotation thing.
Yeah.
Because like
the beach is longer. I don't know if,
yes, the beach is a longer drive.
Yeah.
I mean, because the nice thing about going to the mountains was we didn't have to leave the house until like 6 o'clock in the morning. When we go to the beach, we have to leave the house at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm driving for 4+ hours with the car that is asleep while I am keeping myself hyped and awake to get us to breakfast, to just get as far south as we possibly can before everybody's like, I need something. Because that's the only time we can just go.
Ideally, yes. But we thought they were going to sleep when we woke up at 6.
I was not super convinced on that.
Yeah, they did not.
No.
They did not sleep.
They were really good for the car ride, though. So it was good.
They mostly behaved.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times when they would like get on each other's nerves and stuff.
Definitely in the last month, I have used "don't antagonize your sibling" a lot more than I ever have.
I feel like that's that age, though.
Yeah,
like,
they purposefully poke each other's buttons. Like I can see the little fire start behind their eyes before because it's like, I can tell my sister is about to have a meltdown. So I'm going to go bug her about some mundane thing and see how hard she can scream.
I mean, they have like really sweet moments together too.
They do. I mean, I think it's because they want to spend a lot of time together and they don't super know how to interact with other people yet. They're still figuring that out.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so travel as much as you can. And travel can just be like, spend a day vacationing in your city. Do the hokey tourist thing that you haven't done since you were 10 or that you haven't done ever because, that's what all the tourists do. Like, go do something that gets you out of just like whatever your normal routine is. The next one I have is enjoy the little things. because sprinkler. Find joy when running around sprinklers and snuggling up when watching a movie. I mean, it goes with being flexible and be present and giving yourself grace, or it's not about you, or being patient. Sometimes it's, hey, we did a puzzle together. And that is 30 minutes of just togetherness.
It's 30 minutes of no screen.
Yep.
So that's a win. I'm not a big fan of the screens.
Yeah.
We do use them. You mentioned that we have a tablet, but we never like hand them the tablet.
Mm-mm.
It's always the tablet is, we have an older TV, probably 2017, I think. So the apps don't, it was right before the smart TVs really took off.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So the apps don't.
it has apps, but I don't know if they work anymore.
The apps don't work for sure. And the apps that we want don't exist because it's so old. So in order to make it a smart TV, we have a PS4, but some of the apps don't even work on the PS4.
Yeah.
So we figured out a way to telecast the tablet to the TV.
Yeah.
It has to be a Samsung for that to work.
So sometimes the little things is, I am a puzzle person. I love a really good puzzle. Elliot gets that from me. And for me, one of the little things was listening to you and Jenna try to help him with his bear puzzle.
I wasn't really helping.
No, but it was, and then Elliot's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And Jenna's like still working on the puzzle and she's struggling with it, but she got the head of the cub all done. And she's super proud about it. I'm like, Jenna, this is Elliot's puzzle. Maybe we should be doing this with Elliot. And then we go do whatever it is we were going to do that day. And the next day we come back to it. And so it's me and Elliot doing the puzzle, which ends up being like me doing 75% of the puzzle just to keep him engaged.
That was a hard puzzle.
It was a hard puzzle. I really enjoyed it.
It wasn't a rectangle. It was like
It was cub on a log shaped. Because it was, or cub on a rock.
It was like a
Cub
oval.
on a rock shaped. There were very few straight sides. If there was a straight side, it was a very high probability that it went up against another puzzle piece, not the edge of the puzzle. So I did cheat, quote unquote, a little bit by using the paper that it came with had a little section that had part of the puzzle assembled where you could see what the puzzle piece shapes were.
That's not
And I
cheating.
did
That's
use that to figure out what piece went where for a few of them because it's all fur.
That's using resources.
I did use resources wisely.
Yeah.
Eventually we will do that cub puzzle again and Elliot will do more of it because he does well with, I'm going to kind of help you do this puzzle. And then once I see how it goes together, the next time I'm going to do way more of it myself. Mm-hmm. So he likes to learn how to do something before he actually does it.
He's very analytical for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary how analytical he is.
He is going to be my little engineer. I can see it already.
I mean, he wants to be an engineer.
Yeah.
But he wants to drive a train.
Yes. The current plans for career are Elliot is going to drive a train and Lily is going to fly a plane and they're going to wave at each other as they go across the country.
Did they actually say that?
Well, Lily said they would wave at each other.
Okay.
So the across the country part was implied because I don't know if she fully grasps that yet, but her plan's to be a pilot. His plan is to be a train engineer.
I mean, it changes daily.
It does.
I mean, Elliot has been consistent.
He's been pretty consistent. Lily is all over the map. I'm still not exactly sure what she's going to be, but she's got plenty of time to figure that out.
Teacher.
She's going to teach something. And then the last thing that I have is that making lists is hard. And you're going to make a lot of them. What are we doing this weekend? What things need to be fixed around the house?
Everything.
Yeah. What do I need to schedule for the kids? I need to schedule their dentist appointments. Eventually we'll do that.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Come up with a list of 10 things you've learned during 10 years of marriage.
It was good content.
And then make a list of all your lists because you need to keep track of what lists you have. Maybe one day we won't have to make lists anymore. I doubt it, though. There's always going to be something.
I write lists at work.
I do, too.
And do I get them done?
Nope.
I mean, eventually I do.
I wrote a list for everything that I thought that our department should be working on. And now my boss used it as a framework to make a bigger list of things that our department should be working on. And then I made a list of what the co-op should be doing so he wouldn't get bored as much. And then I made a list of what I needed to be working on. Mm-hmm. And then I freaked out because it was very long. Eventually the stuff will get done.
That's how it goes.
Yep, it's just lots of lists. So many lists. I should probably be writing a list right now.
We should spend more time writing lists.
Totally. Okay. Anything you want to add?
I think we went way over.
It's been an hour and a half-ish.
Yeah. I think we did way more than 10.
Yeah.
So,
to summarize, 10 years of marriage. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Here's to 10 more and beyond.
Yeah. So we had be flexible, learn patience, give yourself grace. It's not about you. Be present. Be grateful for what you have, not greedy for what you want. Work together when making big decisions. Go on adventures. Enjoy the little things. And making lists is hard. And what were the 2 bonus?
One of them, I had it and then I lost it. And then I'm going to get it back again. And it's going to be fine. Let's see here. What did I have? Oh, if I go here. Oh, every couple has something that they cannot do together. Figure out what your thing is and remember it. Don't BS. Remember what that thing was. Please and thank you. And then you had one, but I don't remember what it was. Or no, I had one and I put it in somewhere.
Was it about the snacks?
Know what your spouse needs. I get real hangry. We know this about me. We can plan for it. The kids also get hangry. We don't go very many places without snacks or easy access to snacks.
Yep, this is true.
Yep. Be prepared. Isn't that like the Boy Scout motto?
I'm not a Boy Scout, so I don't know.
I don't remember anymore.
But before we close out this week's show, it's time for our pint-sized moment of the week.
Aww.
Where we celebrate the small wins from the week. These are moments that make us laugh, important family milestones, moments that make us go,
Aww.
It's our way of raising a glass to the joys, the challenges, and laughter that come with parenting. One pint-sized moment at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, Caroline, take it away.
Yep. So the kids watched Frozen this morning. So as part of our wind down time, we watched Frozen 2 this evening, which after a conversation with Joe, we have decided is more for adults than it is for children because 3/4 of the songs in it are bangers, especially when sung by bands that we enjoy listening to. Lost in the Woods by Weezer. Into the Unknown by Panic at the Disco. Oh my goodness. I could sing along with that all the time. Definitely maybe a bit more made for adults than made for children. Like, it's still like the kids enjoy it, but I enjoy it way more.
Is there a moment that you want to?
This is the context for the moment.
Okay.
So today, Elliot told me as we were listening, well, during my sing-along of Frozen 2, that, quote, "You're a good singer, Mommy," which like melted my little heart because I'm going to cherish that forever. Because it's definitely a change of pace from Lily putting her hand over my mouth physically and saying, "Only I sing."
She has done that, especially when she was like 2.
Yeah, when she was 2, Lord forbid, I attempt to sing along with a song that she is singing to. No, only I sing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. But Elliot today told me that I was a good singer, and that's all that matters.
that's all that matters.
Yep.
So Frozen 2, I have some thoughts that I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I don't think it's a good movie. It's very complicated.
It is.
I heard rumors. I think these rumors are substantiated through their little documentary that they did.
Mm-hmm.
That they went through excessive last-minute rewrites and reroutings.
Yeah, like basically the documentary. Oh my goodness, 12% beer.
Yeah.
Basically the documentary for the making of Frozen 2, because, oh my goodness, this is going to be such a big hit. We should document all this stuff along the way. Was they had a movie and it was okay. And then it was like, there were lots of questions. People were very confused. And then they finally figured it out and got the movie that it is.
And it's still very confusing.
It is. Like
I get it.
After like the 10th watch or the 20th watch, I get it. Definitely using Weezer Panic at the Disco for doing the credits versions of songs is super fun for me, but also makes me question whether or not I'm getting super old, because I feel like my kids' movies the credits were by like bands that my parents liked, kind of, or like bands that like my parents' generation liked.
No, they were like in like Aladdin, like it was like the 90s.
It was super 90s bop. Who was probably listening to super 90s bop? Our parents. Or our parents' generation. Like,
no, they were listening to 70s stuff.
But I did, so on Lily's Spotify playlist, she does have the original version and the Mommy's Band version of our songs, of the songs from Frozen 2.
Well, the songs are just blah. Like, they're not.
Lost in the Woods is a banger. I will fight for that.
For like a kid's movie, though.
For
like,
a kid's movie, no.
Like, it's funny because it's an 80s rock ballad. But if Lily was born in 2019.
A 5-year-old does not know what an 80s rock ballad is.
No. But it's funny. Like, if you're an adult, like they really leaned into it. And it's funny because of that.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I have another pint-sized moment from this week. We're sitting down at breakfast this morning, and we're talking about how we're going to a surprise party, and it is for Jolene's mom. And Elliot goes, "Jolene, Jolene, Jolene, Jolene."
Yes.
And then Lily's like, "No, it goes like this." And she says the exact same thing. And I'm like, yes. But then also the kids are convinced that Sweet Caroline is mommy's favorite song.
It's true.
And it's not true.
And I already warned our friend who we went to the surprise birthday party for. Her daughter happens to be named.
I don't know if it's because of the song or it's just happenstance. I don't remember. I feel like I've asked them at some point and I just don't remember.
Yeah, her daughter happens to be named Jolene. So our kids associate, I guess, her with that song. Which it's like a breakup song.
No, it is. Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of. It's a
breakup song, or it's like a threat. It's like don't take my man.
Well, it's
or
like
I'll beat you up.
So it's like if you had a coworker that I thought was flirting with you, but I also thought was hotter than me, that me being like, "Hey, homegirl, like please leave my man alone, because like you can get anybody that you want, but like this is my man and he's the only man for me. So please," it's more like. It's more because I mean she literally says, "I'm begging you, please don't take my man. Like please stay away from my man because you can have any man that you want, but this is the man for me."
So I don't know if it's a good thing that we associate they associate that with their friend, but it is what it is, I guess. We went to Dollywood. And they like Dolly Parton, so because we told them that Dolly Parton gives them free books every month.
And they are both into books.
But Lily doesn't get books because she's over 5.
Yep. She's aged out of the program now.
But she's gotten free books every month.
For a while.
Since, for 5 years. So that's a lot of books. And she likes Dolly Parton because of that.
Yep. Okay, we should probably wrap this up because I'm about to fall asleep. That 12%er is hit into sleepy time. Plus all that grapefruit beer today.
All the grapefruit beer, all the heat.
So hot.
Well, thank you so much if you're still listening. Thank you for being here. We are the Craft Parenting Podcast. The podcast about 2 Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem, which is currently sleeping, hopefully.
They haven't come downstairs, so I'd say we're good.
They have the noise makers on too. My name is Joe. This is my lovely wife and co-host Caroline.
Hey.
You can follow the show on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram. And we have a website too. We should probably plug that because I spent a lot of time on that.
You did. It looks really good.
It's craftparentingpodcast.com. And if you go to craftparentingpodcast.com, you can sign up for our newsletter.
Woohoo! I signed up.
I signed you up.
I wasn't going to say that, but okay.
I don't think it counts when you sign up for your own newsletter, but we have at least 2 people who are signed up for it. I can guarantee you that. So, Mom, if you're listening, be number 3 or 10,000, whichever one. It's between 3 and 10,000 people who are signed up. I'll give
somewhere in there
the audience that. It's an exciting newsletter. It'll, if social media, the news feed, it's very frustrating because you go on social media and you follow all these things.
And I see events after they happened, and I'm like, if I would have known about that, I would have gone.
You see events after they happen. You see people you don't follow or you don't want to follow. It's very confusing. You're on social media now, and it's distracting me. But it's kind of useless, if you ask me. But if you want to have a reliable way of knowing when we post stuff, the newsletter is the way to go. So you can go to craftparentingpodcast.com and sign up for that. And we won't spam you, but we will let you know when our latest episode is available.
Yep.
And it's a very, very reliable way to get that information. So you can follow us there. My name is Joe. I'm Dad of Words on Instagram and X. You can follow me there. And I have a newsletter as well called Dad Think.
And I am at Caroline Creates Crafts on Instagram and Ish Facebook.
And so that does it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you again next time.